GTM Podcast Buddhist Knowledge Series 38 Blessing of Life Blessing 3 Expressing Respect to Those Worthy of Respect Part 1 Introduction From the previous episode, we had covered Blessing 1 and 2 so far, which were about not associating with the fool and associating with the wise. In this episode, we will go over how to learn from the wise or expressing respect to those worthy of respect. People differentiate by their discretion, as seen in the previous blessings. The brightness of a person's feature relies on his ability to judge the difference between good and evil. If his judgment is faulty, there is no way he can make a success of his life. Even though people may look superficially similar, their standards of judgment can be so different. As human beings, we are born equal. We all have a pair of hands and 10 fingers. But some people use their hands to perform works that are useful to society, while others think that their hands will become more famous as fists and go around punching up the neighbors for a living. In this blessing, we look at the third of the three major influences on our development of sound discretion. Having the right sort of role model in our hearts. This blessing doesn't imply that we model ourselves on anyone or anything at all. But if we want to develop sound discretion, we need to model ourselves, only those worthy of our respect. Hearing such terms as paying respect, expressing respect, or people worthy of respect, the casual listener might come to the premature conclusion that this blessing is so obsolete to our day and age. However, if we rephrase what we mean in the modern terms, asking, who is the hero in your heart? Which celebrity do you model yourself on, or dreaming of emulating? The pertinence of this blessing will become much more immediate. When we are children, and the horizons of our experience do not extend beyond the walls of our house. Maybe our own parents represent all that we want to achieve in our lives. We try to play at being grown up like our parents, imitating them in our play. If we are exposed to a good parental example, our idea of what we perceive as normal or ethical will develop quite accurately from an early age. However, if, for example, parents lie to their children often or beating them out of anger, then that comes to be what the child perceives to be the standard of justice in life. During one's teen years, when one's horizon extends beyond the home, the influence of constructive or destructive role models becomes stronger and stronger. These models are over and above the influence of good or bad friends, as studied in the previous two blessings. Look at some of the role model celebrities set for the youth of today, and you can imagine some of the problems facing our impressionable youth of today. Supposing you plan to model yourself on one of the celebrities in this modern time, some of them whom killed themselves at an early age, you might come to the conclusion that truly creative people are too beautiful for this world. You may come to the conclusion that creative actors drank because they had to, or it was the pressure of fame, or that killing yourself is how to earn fame or emotionally blackmail others. We can overlook the insecure, caustic, boring reality of these people's lives. We can rationalize away the brutal and banal nature of their addictions. We can forgive our heroes, and we come to be able to forgive ourselves as well. It gives us an instant excuse to be irresponsible and innocent. We can say we are too beautiful for this world too. We can act like drug children, crash our lives and drop out. And the truth about someone like, for example, the painter, like Vincent van Gogh, is that when he painted, he was beautiful, but in other matters he was not. He was always encouraging his emotions to work their dark magic. It's true that he ought to be admired while he had his paintbrush in his hand, but to be admired for his whole sorrowful life and to make a legend out of it is to confuse oneself. The problem for us as beginners on the initial step of the 38 blessing, as debutants only just beginning to pick up an inkling of what is good for our spiritual development or what is not. We don't yet have the ability to distinguish between the creative and destructive aspect of someone's behavior. Therefore, on your journey of spiritual discovery, it's better to choose a role model who you can rely upon as exemplar in all aspects of life. If you can choose a reliable role model for yourself, you will accelerate your acquisition of right view and wisdom. You will become less vulnerable to the influence of fools. You will more easily be able to avoid associating with fools. You will facilitate the spread of virtue in society and the world. It will prevent you from becoming self-centered or arrogant about your own virtues. It will facilitate the development of mindfulness that is the precursor of wisdom. It will add to your enthusiasm for self-development. And so everyone, these are the introduction of how can one expressing their respect to those worthy of their respect. We will continue again in the next episode, so stay tuned in our next podcast. See you again next time.